Hey guys, Chris here from Carolot Farm. I'm out in the fall garden this morning. It's almost the very end of September now, and I wasn't planning on doing a video. I was just going about my business, filling my water buckets, and something caught my eye, and I want to show you because I think it's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see this or not, but right above my fingertip here is a giant hornworm. And why I want to show you him is he is covered in these little white, they look like eggs, they're actually cocoons. And I want to tell you a little bit about them, but that's what caught my eye. I was out here in the garden and I'm like, what is that white thing on my tomatoes? So I came to look, and it's a hornworm, and I'm actually beginning to find a bunch of them. I'm not too worried because the plants are really towards the very end of their life cycle, as is this hornworm.
This hornworm here has a red horn, and I believe that means he is a tobacco hornworm. The true tomato hornworm usually has more of a black horn, if I'm not mistaken. A parasitic wasp has actually laid its eggs within the hornworm here, and so these are the young that have emerged. They've built the cocoons, and when they then come out of this next stage, the young will then actually feed upon the worm itself, and that will be the final end to the hornworm. And because of that, it is recommended that if you see a hornworm that has the white cocoons, just to leave it be and let nature take its course.
I have just spied another slightly smaller hornworm. He also has a few of those white cocoons on him. He's on the move though, so I wanted to show you that. They tend to nip your plants from the top, and you can oftentimes spy where they've been in the garden because you can see that your plants have kind of been tipped. But it's kind of interesting to watch him. I've never really seen these guys on the move before.
Hornworms will eat all different parts of the plant. They'll eat the stems, they'll eat the leaves, and they've even been known to bore into the fruit, so in this case the tomatoes. So they can do all sorts of damage in the garden.
As I continue my search in the garden for more hornworms, I am finding a few more. Here's one. Like the others, he already has those cocoons on him, so I'm going to leave him be. And I am suspecting that this could be a very young, immature hornworm here. It's hard to really know. I am by no means an expert on hornworms, but it almost looks like these darker spots on his side could maybe be the beginnings of those chevron patterns that they have when they're older.
Here is another tomato that clearly has had something boring into it, most likely a hornworm. I don't see any right here at the tomato, but let me keep looking because I expect they're not far.
No sooner did I say I knew that they weren't that far, I may have found what could be the largest hornworm that I have seen in the garden. Let me see if I can get a better video of him for you, but look at that sucker. He does not have the white cocoons on him, and so I will probably pick him off and put him in my discard bucket. But you can see there is that red horn up at the top. I am curious to see what this hornworm does. Oh, he's going to inch back up, it looks like. Throw it in reverse. Nature is just so intriguing, you know. The horn is at the back of the hornworm, but with that little dot there, it looks like that could be his face, you know. It could be an eye, but it's not. You know, many insects and all are made to look different than they truly are, and I'm sure it's just part of their natural camouflage and defense. But his head is down here at the bottom, the low end, and the tail has the horn on it up here at the top. And this is his mouth down here. holding on to the tip of the branch, blowing in the breeze a little. It's a little breezy today. You might hear my wind chime up in the backyard by the house. A little gardening tip I'll leave you with is I find it handy to always have some sort of jug in the garden to put insects into. There's this one hornworm that I found that does not have the cocoons on him. It could be that the wasp has already laid the eggs inside of him and they just haven't emerged. But because I don't see the cocoons, I am going to pick that one off and I'm going to put him in my bucket. But my discard bucket is also especially handy with squash bugs. Whenever I see them, I think I picked off some June bugs earlier in the summer, stink bugs. So all sorts of little garden pests and insects that you can just kind of pick off your plants. You want to discard them if possible, as opposed to smushing them. So again, I always hate to do it, but I am going to have to remove that hornworm. I found another one. He's hiding a little deeper in the tomato plants here. But again, it was the white cocoons on his back that caught my eye. As we've been approaching the end of our tomato season, I am still continuing to pick them just as soon as I see a little bit of ripening color to them, because they will finish ripening inside, hopefully before the caterpillars and other insects get to them. So this one is in pretty good shape, so I will take it inside to finish ripening.
I'm very happy that the hornworms caught my eye today because it allowed me to actually do a little more research on them. I had known them to eat plants before, but I had not really known that the hornworms would also bore into your tomatoes. So this damage here, I didn't realize that it was likely caused by a hornworm, but now I'm all the wiser. And so next year, I will keep a close eye out for them, not only in the summer, but also as we head into the fall months.
Being as this is probably the final tomato video of the 2025 season, I wanted to show you our last few tomatoes that are ripening inside. The ones on the left will be processed today. These over here on the right-hand side still need a few more days to finish ripening. And then we have the green ones that we just picked today that have just begun to turn. So it is a slow and steady process, but we just feel like there's no need to waste the produce, and so we will blanch these and peel them, and we will likely freeze them for either soups or chilies in the winter. I have spied a couple of very nice looking sandwich tomatoes. We might hold on to these for BLTs. Thank you so much for joining me this morning here in the garden. It was fun looking for, I think we found 5 or 6 of those tomato hornworms. These are actually probably tobacco hornworms because they seem to have the red horn on them. But again, hornworms, whatever. But they certainly are after my tomatoes, which again, are right at the very end, so I'm not worried. But sometimes they will also try to eat on the pepper plants, and our peppers are still producing fairly well, so I want to keep a close eye on those. And you know, I hope your garden is doing well. Just to recap, these tomatoes, we had over 40 of them to start the season off. We made tons and tons of salsa. We've put up a bunch of jars of whole tomatoes, tomatoes and okra. So it's just been a phenomenal season here in the garden. But I do think we're gonna have to say farewell to these tomatoes very, very soon because there's not much left. But hey, that's the cycle of the year. Thanks for joining again. Check back soon and hope to see you in the future. Bye guys.